Ahoy ahoy to all you smooth sailors out there, and welcome aboard the DeckTales Podcast. I'm your host and captain, Sammy Catlin, and this is the show where we set sail into the captivating world of ship life. Most of the time, delving into the best and worst experiences of the incredible crew members who called the open sea their workplace, but I'm open to the odd exception as well. Whether we're navigating stunning destinations to weathering unexpected storms, our guests all have stories to tell that will make you laugh, gasp, and maybe even shed an unexpected tear. So if you're a seasoned cruiser eagerly awaiting your next embarkation, or just curious as to what goes on at sea, DeckTales is your boarding pass to a world of nautical narratives. My guest today is not using his real name as he still works within the hospitality industry, and so said to just refer to him as Tommy. We worked on a ship that offered the booze cruise to mostly American tourists heading down to Ensenada, Mexico. And as his job was over on the reception desk, he had a front row seat to encounter all the wonderful characters that came aboard during that contract. It was Tommy's only cruise ship, probably for this reason, and I had a great time hearing all about it. So, let's anchor up and dive right in. Hey, good morning, mate.
Hi, how you doing? All good?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. How are you?
Yeah, hanging there.
You look a little different since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I got a different picture today. I shaved, yeah.
Well, I only saw you the other week in central London, and now you've gone completely albino.
Yeah, I like this tone. I prefer this.
This is the new look, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little bit animal inside.
Side note, for those of you listening to just the audio and wondering what the hell that was about, Tommy is not only using a pseudonym, but he is also an avatar of a polar bear. End of side note. So we've worked together, for those listening, but for the purposes of this interview, you decided that you would like to be anonymous, and that's absolutely fine. If anything, it's helpful to have an interview like this because it shows others that it can be done, and that your likeness, your image, your name, all of that sort of stuff can be completely out of it. Because the most important thing is the stories that we share here on DeckTales, and that, nothing gets back to you or to me and gets anyone in any trouble. So whether or not the stories that you tell are particularly bad or you just don't want to be on camera, it's fine.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, so I don't really care about it anymore, but there's some stuff can happen. I don't want to affect my future.
Absolutely.
I'm still working in the tourist industry, so
right. Yeah, doing hospitality sort of. What was it you were doing on? What work were you doing on ships, and for how long?
So I used to work for the guest service office. So every time when clients has any problems, they come to the desk with us. If they have a broken bed or the liquor get confiscated or things like that, and whenever they have any problems or information or issues or anything, they're usually heading up to the desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the first person with the target on your chest.
Yeah, pretty much on the first day we always get hit with lines of people complaining and asking and making some problems for the whole journey for us, or anything can happen, medical emergencies, arrests on board and things like that, or you name it, pretty sure it happens on board.
Did you work with me on I forgot already. I know we said it when we met up the other day. Was the Paradise?
Paradise, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Paradise from LA, yeah.
So who was your colleagues?
Oh, there was a bunch of us, so...
I'm trying to think. Who else was on the desk? Even if I said somebody right now, you probably wouldn't know because it was so long ago.
Yeah, 15 years.
And there's been quite a few beers since then.
Yeah.
So tell me, how many years were you working on the cruise ship industry?
Specifically with Carnival, I spent only this one contract, and that was like a 2-month training before that on the Caribbean. So
what, you had 2 months training in the Caribbean?
Yeah. I think we were on the Inspiration or something. Yeah, because
Oh, you weren't just hanging around the Caribbean on a beach doing your training.
no, no, like a proper cruise ship. Yeah, because we had to be trained, kind of situations or what can happen on board, and that was a long training. I think it was from Fort Lauderdale. So we went like a couple of cruises, and then we like shadowing all the senior guest services, and then give us some trainings for like how to operate the lifeboats and things like that. So like usual stuff, what you need to know when you are in a serious situation.
Like this right now. This is a serious situation. I'm being told serious stories by a polar bear.
Yeah, kinda.
You get presented with situations at the front desk, and sometimes something might tickle you, and you've got to do that straight face, keep it calm, keep it professional. Did anything like that happen to you when someone came up to you with a complaint and you nearly laughed in their face?
Yeah, that was almost a daily situation for us. So we did some competition as well between guest service offices. So who can came up the most ridiculous story on the day, or things like that, or how you can get triggered by the guests, or who's the another lost their patient first, or things like that. So yeah, because we are all humans, end of the day. So
But you had a competition over who got the most ridiculous. So what was the winner of that competition receiving?
oh, that was some stupid questions from clients.
No,
Is
no, but if it's a competition, there has to be a winner.
Yeah, there was some simple people to us asking directions. So or how they can. The most ridiculous for us is how we can exit the boat. And we made a sign in front of us on the desk, the exit on level 3. And people read the sign and they still come to us to ask how we can exit. It's like, just showing the sign after a while, because get bored to answer the same questions, or sometimes we just make fun of those people. So between us, of course, behind them.
So other than people not knowing which way it is to get off the ship, did you have any ridiculous demands or other kind of stupid questions or complaints? Because you must have a list of these.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We get a few people coming to the desk. When you get on board, you can't bring your own alcohol. So we take it away. And then that was the most complaints. Oh, I bought a bottle of vodka or whatever, and then, oh, it's missing from my bag. So that was the most complaints. Because, I understand the policy, you got to pay for your drink on board, so you can't bring your own.
Yeah.
So
But to,
that was
to
the
enforce
most,
it,
yeah.
to enforce it like that as well, it's like if you were to take your own popcorn into a cinema, no one's really going to do anything. No one's going to come in and say, "Hey, put that back," or "I'm going to keep it locked up until the end of the movie. You have to buy your own popcorn. You have to buy your popcorn here," right? No one's going to do that on a
Yeah,
cinema. But
I
on
never
a
understand
ship,
how does it work on the boat, because all of a sudden these bottles are missing. So somebody has to X-ray, or somebody has to go through the luggages and then open the luggage and take it out, like
and put it
impersonal.
and put it somewhere
Yeah,
safe until the end of the cruise, and then put it back.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That wasn't you.
No. We was just dealing with the complaint. So, and then there was queue of people, like queue. We on the embarkation days we have a duty when there was one of us has to be outside of the desk and then asking people why are they queuing for, and then some of them is just like, oh, it's just a queue of people. I thought I'm gonna get in, or maybe something free, or I was like, no, just go enjoy your holiday. You don't need to queue up for because there's 100 people queuing up for a desk for complaints. You don't need to get into the queue. So that was one of the most ridiculous things for us.
The law of peer pressure. It's like, oh, all these people are doing that. I must join in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was their idea.
Goodness me. I can't believe people would just join a queue. Like, I see a queue, I think, oh, the food must be good. Usually, that's the first thing.
Or in the States, they think, oh, something is for free.
Yeah. They're giving out handouts, or, oh, there must be a famous person behind the desk or something. But you go on a ship and you're in the atrium, and it's like, well, that's clearly the front office, the guest services reception desk. It says it right above it in big letters, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So no one's giving out free gifts. You know there's no celebs, and you know there's no food. So it must
yeah.
be do your Sherlock and figure out that it's probably just a bunch of people complaining. But you get the people
And
that
then
would.
and the most people came to the desk to taking off the gratuity
That was actually
because
what I
it's
was about to say.
automated, like, yeah,
Yeah.
charged to the card. So,
Straight away, yeah. But
yeah,
you can understand that why they would want to take that off and do their own tips. But it's because it's not a
if they
choice.
do, because
Yeah,
you never know.
if they do, but it's not a choice. You're already charged before you've sat down. Your gratuities are what? What percentage?
It was like $7 a day that time, and it's
Okay.
shared between the housekeeping and the waitress stuff.
So each passenger is charged an extra $7 a day for their
Yeah.
onboard bill, which they haven't paid yet. It's being added up as they go.
Yeah, yeah. Usually it's charged on the first night automatically on your card. So that's why most people, because your key card, how you pay on board for drinks, this is how it used to be, and then it links to your bank account. And then all of a sudden, people get noticed, oh, my bank account get charged. So they immediately go to the guest services and like, oh, why is there a $50 bill on my bank account? And it's like, this is the tips for the guys on board. And then they always arguing, I'm going to do my own tip. And, I understand that point, but I also understand, on the guys who are working on like waiters and all the housekeeping, this is their wages, actually. This is how they get paid.
Is it actually though? Like they do have a base salary. It's not just tips.
That time, 15 years ago, they had a base salary around $100 a month.
Wow.
And then the rest is tips. But
And
some
the
of the
rest is
tips was like thousands end of the month.
so they would do a lot better from tips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't in a position to earn tips. I wasn't in a position. Did you ever get any?
Yeah, our tips are like peanuts. Like, even if we solve major problems for people, they always give like $1 or something or anything. There was one funny Croatian guy. He was like, anything if he gets under $1, like coins, like dimes or whatever, and then he said, "Oh, sorry, I'm allergic to metal," and he pushed it back.
So you just did that one contract. That was all you did.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it broke me a little bit because that was almost 10 months
Yeah. No, but so
with no days off.
with
Yeah,
no days off. With cruising, it's something like that. A lot of the time, it's either one contract or you go in for the duration. Like there's people that would do it for
yeah. If we do
a career.
different itineraries, I understand the long term. Yeah, you see different places in the world. You see travel. You see different destinations. But we called it booze cruise. 3-4 days to Mexico to people get.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
literally was that ship was literally the definition of a booze cruise. You get people coming on for like spring break and they'd go to what was that place in was it
Ensenada. Yeah,
Well, yeah, Ensenada. Was it Mamas and Papas?
yeah, and mango, and
Mango, Senor Frogs, all
yes,
those places.
these. Yeah, that's when I get my first and last blackout drunk.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They were dangerous. They were dangerous places. They literally just
Yeah, they handing out like bucket of beers, especially for us because we're bringing for customers. So we
yeah.
get some, free stuff as well.
The
So
guy, well, yeah, I just remembered the guy that was running Mangoes because I would just bring so many guests. I would
yeah,
arrive and he would point to the bar. You're like, there you go. And on the bar, ready and waiting for me was a pint of Long Island iced tea. And do you remember how?
that's a nice day to start. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there just to use the internet. But that
Yeah, I
was
remember those parties. Yeah.
what was I? I was 21, 22, around that sort of age. So yeah, stupid, just running around chasing after the booze and working, of
Yeah, but
course.
especially when you get for free, you don't care.
Exactly. And in that culture of Ensenada, it was always about the drink mostly. Because it was just as soon as you got off the ship, every direction you looked, there was just bars everywhere. I think
Yeah, people get involved in fights and people get arrested. So I remember some of our clients get arrested in Mexico, so we had to leave them behind. So,
because of
problematic
fighting.
cruise, pretty much. Yeah.
Did you have a scariest moment?
Whew, we had a few like medical emergencies on board when we had to be calling the Coast Guards. There was one guy that was a funny story because we get the man overboard message on the PA system.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, we gotta stop the board or stop the ship and turn around. And at that time, I wasn't on duty, but later on, I find out there was a guy jumping off from one balcony to the pool in another one. And then from behind,
How does that work?
from back of the ship, there was like an adult section with a pool.
Oh, so
And there
on
was
the
a
back of
guy.
the ship, he went from the
Yeah,
balcony top level downwards onto the pool.
yeah, he jumped into the pool. And then from behind, someone saw him jumping over the rail. So he thought he's a man overboard because he didn't see he's jumping into the pool in the below level. So then we stopped the ship, we put down the searching boat and things like that. And then after a couple of hours, the guy came to the desk and reported himself. Oh, I was jumping over the rails but it was in the pool. I was like, oh man, you stupid. So that caused a big trouble for us.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't get the bill at the end of the day on his to charge him for the extra fuel that was burned.
He should have been charged, yeah.
But he was jumping into what was it, a crew pool, or there was a Serenity deck?
No, it was like a small hot tub or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like they had two or something on the sides.
Yeah, at the
A
back. Yeah,
Serenity deck, which
yeah, I
is
think it's called. Yeah, yeah.
so yeah. If someone's jumping in from the balcony above, that's the furthest thing from Serenity. If you're in there trying to relax. What about forbidden romances? Did you have any of those?
No, because
All
I don't
above
think
board.
so. With the crew is okay. With the guests, it shouldn't be happening, but it always happens. So, but because I was an officer, nobody really can, do anything against. So if I want to sleep with a customer, there's no problem for me because no one's ever going to report it for who or for why, or I have access everywhere on the boat, so I can go their customer's room with no questions asked and things like that. So there was never been an issue with that. So
So did you abuse that policy?
once.
One time. Did you have your own cabin? Or did you share?
No, I still had to share, but I was lucky all the time because I was shared room with guys. They have their own girlfriends, so they always sleep with the girlfriend's cabin. So I was like alone. There was a drummer, I think, Australian guy, and he's got a girlfriend. So I never seen him in the cabin ever. So
Did you ever miss the ship? No, you didn't miss the ship.
I miss some of the people.
No. Did you miss the ship? Like actually miss?
Oh no.
Not
Never.
literally. Like I really missed
I
the
was
experience.
once I was really close to once when I get blackout drunk and I needed some helps from my colleagues to get back in time. So
Well, Ensenada it was quite difficult to leave the port on time because everyone of all how many guests did we have? We had over 1,300 or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
So relatively,
Nearly 2,000. Yeah,
it was nearly 2,000. And the crew, how many crew?
another 800, I think, roughly.
I mean, considering that was the biggest ship I ever worked on, that's tiny in comparison to the ships we've got now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I just, the show lounge was huge. We had, I thought a massive stage, and the auditorium had the two levels. But yeah, you think, well, that's nothing. That was a small ship. Didn't you, at the reception desk, hold certain sports accessories or items like table tennis balls? and the basketball.
Oh, I don't really remember, but I remember some of you guys coming to us to picking up some stuff like that. But I never remember where they keep it or where they store it.
Is that
But I
was that?
remember you coming up to us to asking for these things because people can steal it or,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know, or throw it overboard or
Yeah, well, that was it. I think that was the only real major crossover of our duties. Because you're 24 hours, the desk is always open, and so is the basketball court and the table tennis table. So the guests should be able to play anytime they want, but we don't just leave those items out for them to play it. They have to go down to reception, collect the items, and
and
then they can play. But so I think now and again we would come and we would top you up, or we would give you new supplies because the balls for the table tennis would just get ruined so quickly. You know, these drunken guests who want to play at 2 in the morning, they just lose everything and break all the bats. That's like constantly. Oh God, yeah. But we did we have
I
any?
feel your pain. Yeah.
What were some of the stories that you weren't happy to tell on camera?
We get some arrests on board. Like people get in serious fights, and then we had to call ambulance and police involved and things like that. And we get some like cartel members, like serious Mexican cartel members. They get arrested. So we had to cooperate with the coast guards to make sure everybody's in their room when the police coming on board and things like that. So yeah, that was some serious situations.
The cartel were doing drugs or trafficking or just on
Yeah,
there.
drug smuggling. Yeah,
Although
yeah.
they weren't there just for the bingo and the booze cruise.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they not. Because these smart boys, they use their own passport to get on board.
Yeah.
And then, when we see the passports and then some people are the police looking for them, we get a kind of like a note about that. But, we had to call the coast guards and then ask them what they're looking for, what kind of felony or whatever, if they're serious or sometimes they told us, okay, keep the guys on the ship and then we will come and get them. So pretty much that's how it worked those times.
But you didn't have to forcefully keep them in their cabins or do anything that would arouse suspicion. Just carry on as normal.
No, no, we just give them some, basic information for safety features. You need to stay in this room or get to your muster station, and then all of a sudden the police showed up.
Yeah. What about most embarrassing moments? Did you have any of those during your time?
Uh,
Whether it was you or somebody else, you can tell us one of each.
for me personally, when I get like really drunk and I was still on duty, and exactly. So when you had the morning shift and the previous night you were still drinking till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you start at 7, and then you show up at the desk and you start your shift with throwing up in a bin next to you. So
Oh God. And you got away with that.
yeah,
You got away with that one.
yeah, that was long deep in my contract, so I could get away with that.
Yeah. You had some credits in the bank.
Yeah, pretty much exactly.
But that was the most embarrassing. What about embarrassing moments for the guests? Were there any of those that you can remember?
I see some people running naked on corridors, but I don't think so. It was, embarrassing for them.
Nah,
So
they were fine with that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. They weren't locked out of their cabin and someone had stolen their clothes, unless that's the case.
no, I don't remember these kind of cases. But yeah, they just some, booty calls on boat, and then they people like running from one cabin to another with no clothes on. So that's I seen. So, but
Yeah.
it's normal on booze cruises.
Yeah. We still had a kids club, didn't we? We had kids hosts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still had children and events for kids, but it was mostly adults. Those pink hat ladies, they were always on board Paradise. Do you remember
What's
them?
that? Oh, yeah. What's that
Well, no,
called?
no, the purple hat ladies.
Yeah, the purple. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I remember.
I never understood that.
Crazies.
Why are they always just all these ladies wearing purple hats? I mean, purple used to be a luxury item, the color purple. So to have a purple hat is like, look at my wealth atop my head. I must be rolling in the dough. But then you see a
Yeah,
whole
and some of them
group of
were
them.
the cheapest clients.
That's true. They wouldn't. Well, they would argue over every little penny, wouldn't they? But that's
Yeah, and we have access to their. We could see how much they purchased for the cruise, so how much they spent for the ticket.
yeah.
Some of them was like under $100.
Wow.
What was shocking for me,
Yeah. And you consider that's like for a 3-day cruise, maybe a 4-day
with
cruise.
food included, with the room and everything.
Yeah. I don't know how that's possible to do it that cheap. But Americans don't get much holidays, so they're trying to squeeze every last drop of that holiday for their money, right?
Yeah, that was in our training as well. We've been told, we try to, give the most of these clients because they have like a 10-day holiday or 20-day holiday per month or per year, sorry. And they want to make the most of it. So try to make the most happiest time for them to help with their complaints. And it was in our training, actually.
So what did you learn from your time at sea that you wouldn't have learned had you stayed on land? If
I
anything,
think
if
what
anything.
what I can profitable the most right now, especially in tourist industry, I see how you can control crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm dealing with 50, 60, maybe 100, people per day, and that could be scary in tourist industries, But when you're done with 1,000 people or like a couple of hundreds, like when you had to do the emergency situations before departure. You have to go to your muster station, and then we learned the crowd control, and
Mm.
that's amazing help for me for today. So that's one of my biggest benefit, how to cooperate with a big group of people. I learned a lot about American culture, how they enjoying holidays, or how they see the world. That was a benefit. The rest of the world, yeah.
What was the most ridiculous complaints and requests? Did you have some more of those that you wanted to share?
Some people get a room above the engine room, and then the engine running all night long, and we couldn't sleep. So, like, why you want me to turn it off the engine overnight just so you can have a sleep?
If you think it's loud for you, imagine how it is for the crew who sleep even closer to it.
Yeah, yeah, especially on a heavy sea day when we have big waves and it's banging on the side of the ship, and then we are below level, so below sea level,
Yeah.
so we can hear it way worse than
Yeah.
the customers.
But around that area was never really that bad. The seas were usually pretty calm.
Yeah, I had some bad experience of rough sea on the Caribbean when we did the training.
Mm.
So that was some of the, like, we had to close all the outside doors because the waves come in out. Now, I mean, what was the open deck was level 7 or 8, and the waves was coming over the nose of the ship, and
Hmm.
then we had to close all of those doors, the
Yeah.
outside doors. So yeah, that was some rough seas. Yeah, we get some complaints about that. So, it's too shaky, too wavy, I don't feel good. I threw up, or what can I do? And, these complaints, we get complaints about the temperature of the pools. It's too cold, it's too hot. And, like, do I look like I can fix it for you? Or so
It's
I don't see the point, to complain about that.
well, yeah, like the pool is the temperature of the ocean because it's pulled in directly from the ocean.
Exactly.
So, what do you expect us to do? Can you just man up, just go in the sea? Essentially, that's the
or
temperature of
or
the
the
water.
pool's too salty.
Oh
Like,
God, yeah, because it's from the ocean. Like they
yeah,
they run it through a filter
yeah, yeah,
at a very basic level. It is always going to keep the salt. It's just it takes out maybe some of the seaweed,
yeah,
or
yeah. And they put some chlorine in it, so to make sure it's clean. But that's it.
that's
So,
it. Yeah. Were there any other complaints that you could think of?
um, Oh, the people they complaining, oh, I booked for a captain's table. How come I'm not sitting with the captain?
What is
Like that.
was that something that you could do? You could book to sit with the captain
Yeah, yeah, for one of the dinners or things like that. So yeah.
for like what, an extra
But
20
of course that's a limited seats.
yeah, what was it, like an extra $20?
Yeah, approximately, yeah. And then the captain just show up for like 10 minutes shaking their hands and then they back on the bridge. So
Oh my God. Yeah. But then if you're paying less than $100 or something stupid for a 4-day booze cruise and that covers everything, and then you complain that you didn't get to meet the captain. Come on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just honestly, like, if you could go on a holiday yourself for that amount of money and then complain about the gratuities, how do you sleep at night? Like, you've got the bargain of all bargains to go on a humongous cruise ship that's got everything you need. Food is free, your room is taken care of. The only thing you've got to pay for is the people who are looking after you. And if you want to buy a few extra drinks or, whatever, that's it.
Yeah, but the beer was like $7, $8 on board or something
Yeah.
ridiculous expensive. So if you want to get drunk, you gotta spend at least like $50, $60
Per
a
day.
day.
Yeah. But that's it. The markup was so high on the booze because the cabins were so cheap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
that's how they made the business, I guess. That's why they can offer you so low tickets for the cruise
Mhm.
because if you are on board, you're gonna spend money on board. So,
Yeah.
and
How
that's why
much?
we used to have the sea day.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't need to have a sea day, but we would have one just because it was the reason
To trap the people inside.
to
Yeah,
trap the people
and then make
inside.
sure they spend
Yeah.
money. Yeah,
Yeah, and also give them that chance to have that kind of traditional day at sea where they would need to dress up in all of their finery, in their tuxedos and their dresses. So we don't
and that
need
was
to.
the only options to open the casino because it cannot be open on shore. So it has to be like 3 miles away
Yeah,
from the closest shore. So that's the only place when they can operate the casino and then make some extra money for the company.
yeah, that's it. Were there any other side hustles that you had to make a bit of extra money for yourself?
I wouldn't call it side hustles, but we had some contact with locals in Mexico. And if we bring some customers for them to renting out ATVs or scooters to cruising around, they always give us one for free. So
Mm.
every time when we docked in Ensenada, I always get a free ATV to cruising around. So,
Ah,
because I bring like 4 or 5 customers to their business, and then they said, "Here's the key for that. Bye. See you in 6 hours."
they were good fun, those ATVs. I only did it the one time and I nearly killed myself.
Yeah, it happened with me as well. So yeah, when I was drunk and driving that ATV in the main street of Ensenada,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I pushed the gas a little bit too much, and it took a wheelie up on yeah, and everybody was cheering at me and was like, "Oh, are you cool? Are you doing that?" I was blackout drunk. I couldn't even remember that, and somebody showed me that video. What I did, I was like, "Shit, man! I should have.
Mm.
I could have crashed or something.
I
But I
did.
survived.
I think, yeah, the most scariest thing about the ATVs, I don't think I was completely sober and they just gave you an ATV. And
Yeah,
it's like, well,
that's not good.
that's crazy. Why would you allow this person to take one of your essentially that you're giving them the keys to kill themselves or break your livelihood, right? Because they make money from people that rent their ATVs. If you give them to somebody who's clearly drunk and then they break it, then that's a lot of money that you've lost. So it's a weird thing that they would give you one or me one
And then just
because,
let you go free. Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
I think I ran a red light.
Oh, listen, we run into a military base with it accidentally.
You went into a military base.
Yeah, because we went on a sandy beach on the south of the port, and then I said, "Okay, let's go far as we can," and we start running with that with like miles and miles away, and we barely could see the city behind us. And then all of a sudden, there was some military like trucks and and cars coming after us, and was like, oh, we better stop now. So, and they said it's a restricted area, it's for a military base. There was no sign, no notes, nothing. It was
Yeah.
just like looked like any other beaches for
Oh
us,
my
but there
God.
was nobody on the beach. And they said, "Oh, we gotta go back and leave." And I was like, "Okay, sorry guys, I didn't know. There was no sign, nothing, nobody tell us." But there was like, the jeep with the big rifle at the back and big guns and things like that, and they were chasing us on the sandy beach. So.
Oh, I mean, I say cool. That sounds both cool and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should stop because I didn't know it's military or cartel members or gangs or whatever. So I wasn't sure to stop or not. So
Were you alone or were you with a group of tourists?
no, I was with one of my friends from back home, and he was a maitre d'. He was like working and that was his only day off.
It was his only
And
day off.
we run into some troubles. Yeah. Did I told you the story about the LAX airport? I
No.
almost technically I get arrested. When I left the cruise ship, the company, I booked a ticket back home. I wanted to fly home. And at the airport, I get picked by the TSA guys to search my bags. I said, okay, no problem. And they opened my suitcase, and there was a bunch of pills covering over my clothes because I always bring some like painkillers with me from back home, and it doesn't have any signs, and it was in the paper box, and the paper box get wet and it's ripped in parts, so all the pills was on my suitcase covering, and then said, oh shit man, it's gonna be a problem. So they took me in the side of like a side search, like nothing deep search, but looking after nothing with gloves, okay. But search my luggage properly.
Yeah.
So they did find those pills. I purchased like a small pipe in Mexico what it contains some illegal stuff, but it was sealed. I purchased in the shop, I thought it's legal, it's normal, it should be, because it's sealed. And I wanted to bring it back to my friend back home because he liked these pipes and Mexican culture. It was like a school figure, and then it looks like a pipe. So they find that. They said, okay, this is illegal in the States, so we need to, take it away from you. And then they find my second passport when I didn't even know I had the second passport because I thought I lost it. But accidentally they find it in like an inside pocket of one of my suits, and I didn't even know
Oh,
it's there.
was it an
And
expired one?
technically no, because I thought I lost it, so I did a new one.
But
So
the names
technically
would have been the
two
same.
passports. Yes, exactly. Everything was same. So nothing like a dodgy second name or whatever. So yeah, they found that, and I used to work for American Embassy before, so I had my valid badge where I can enter any U.S. buildings without any search. So they take it away for that. They handcuffed me, they searched me, and then they said, okay, we had to test these pills and drugs before anything happens. So we need to know if you are smuggling drugs. And of course, I get like a bunch of cash with me, like $8,000, because I get paid from the end of the cruise. So, and it was in a rubber band in my pocket. So it looks like a proper drug money. So,
Yeah.
and I came from Mexico with a cruise, So my view was like, oh shit, I'm gonna end up in a Los Angeles prison or something like that. And I see the plane ticket in my hand. I was like, I can just leave now. And then so end of the day, yeah, they said, okay, we need to flush all these pills and all these drugs, whatever I have with me on the toilet. So there was an armed guy, like a marine or something. They followed me to the toilet. We flushed all this stuff down on the toilet. They take one of my passports and they gave me a armed escort to the plane to make sure I leave the country. So I wasn't embarrassing to getting on the plane with the army behind you with the gun.
Were you banned?
So I felt like a criminal. Yeah.
Were you banned
That's
from
what I
re-entering?
thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I will be. But after a couple of years, I came back to New York. Never had an issue with that.
Okay.
Because usually, I know I used to work at the embassy. So usually this kind of case, we ban the people for like 10 years minimum.
Yeah, but you didn't have anything.
No. So I had no records. I had no, nothing. So I could go back to the States. And
Mm.
yeah, last April, I was back in LA as well, just visiting the old places. I didn't go to see the port because I didn't get that feeling I want to see Long Beach port. But yeah, I looked around in LA again, but it's changed a lot, and it's not in a good way. So there's more homeless, more people on the street, and more dirty. Especially, I don't know if you went to the Hollywood Boulevard that time.
Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, where the stars and
Yeah,
the
yeah, of course.
famous streets. Now it looks way different. There's so many like homeless people. I remember that 15 years ago, it was fun to go there. There was some entertainment stuff on the street, and then you can take pictures with the characters of movies and things like that. And now it's just people running in underwears and crazy drug addict and
Yeah.
dirty as well. So it was a disappointment for me.
I do remember when we were there back in 2010, 2009, 2010. Can't remember exactly what year it was, but there was one day when I was walking. You had to be very careful not to jaywalk because they're very strict on that, aren't they?
Yeah, they used to be. Yeah, I remember.
You'd look left and you'd look right, and there'd be no cars. And if you tried to just step onto the road, all of a sudden a car would just go vroom, and it would go straight through. Right, So you would have to make sure you didn't jaywalk because people broke the speed limit all the time. But one time, I remember, this has just come back to me. I was walking alone and a fire engine pulled up next to me and was like, "Excuse me, have you seen a homeless guy that's been bleeding?" And I said, actually, yes. I've just been walking about a mile back. There was a guy clutching his leg and there was pools of blood. So I pointed and I directed them to I said, just follow the blood. Like that's where you need to go. There's a guy. He's just kind of, yeah. But obviously that was a long time ago. I don't know the story exactly what happened there. But you said it's worse now. That's a shame. And obviously they just had all their forest fires. So it's even worse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure now that they are more devastated than before.
Yeah, Middle America's pretty safe. I might check that out at one point.
Like, you want to stay in Kansas or?
Or maybe Kansas. Or maybe I'll come to visit you. Sounds like it's quite a nice place there.
Yeah, anytime. You're always welcome here. So, yeah.
Nice one.
If you like skiing, yeah.
But I'm not going to pay over $100.
You don't need to pay for anything, pretty much.
Just make sure there's no gratuities added sneakily into the bill at the end.
Hey, listen, I get room service, so
I'll tip you when I come to the end, based on how I feel the experience has been.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I need to put my A game on, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I do that every day I go to work. It's not like my job. Well, because I'm self-employed, every time I go into someone's house or office, I'm subject to review, right? At the end of every job. So like an Amazon product.
What a feeling.
Like an Amazon product, if you do a bad job, you get a bad review. That affects your overall score. And if that drops below a certain number, then you're going to make life a bit more difficult for yourself. So you'll get less bookings, which means less money. So the whole thing, it can be psychologically quite draining.
Is it mandatory to give you a review?
Yeah. At the end of every job, when I invoice them, they ask the guests or the clients to leave a review.
Because if it's not mandatory, then most people give a review when something goes bad. That was a good job. Nobody cares because you've done the job. Yeah.
But yeah, you do get some people. And then obviously the occasions when you go to someone's house and they haven't opened the product that they need help with before you've arrived. So you get there and then it's broken or they've ordered the wrong size and you can't do the job because they didn't fucking check. And I was like, I've just come an hour. I've just traveled.
Now it's your fault.
It's not my fault. I've got a 2-hour call out. So the other day I went to, do you know what an awning is? An awning?
Yeah.
So this awning was supposed to be installed over a balcony, but it was a 2-man job. And the client said, "Oh, I can help." I was like, "No, I need someone who can help."
Nah.
Yeah, I need someone who knows what they're doing to help, right? And so she's like, oh, okay. But so it's a two-man job. We need two ladders. She had one, and I had a friend. He was going to bring another, and he drove his car an hour and a half away to come with a ladder in the car. He paid the ULEZ, ULEZ, ultra low emission zone. So it's like when you drive your car.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So he drove into Central or wherever it was, paid the ULEZ, brought his ladder up, and the awning was too big. It was like 4 meters long. It's like, for fuck's sake, we've both just traveled an hour and a half to get to you, and you couldn't have even opened the box.
Yeah.
For nothing. And I said to her beforehand, right, that we've got a 2-hour call out just for coming to you because it's a 3-hour round trip.
Yeah.
So obviously the work that's not something we factor in. We're not charging you for it, but at the very least we should be coming to you knowing that we're walking away with it, the very bare minimum, a 2-hour invoice. Because it's otherwise what did we get out of bed for? Why did we come all the way to you? But we've gone all the way there. And we haven't been able to do the job, so it's their fault. But this, like, you can't pay 4 hours to two people for just turning up and going, can't do it, and then going back home again. So if they do, then they can leave a bad review because he charged me for not doing any work. It's like, it's your fault. But I'm just fingers crossed, hoping that today is a flawless, easy day. Like, I could go to a property or an office and I've got my 2-hour minimum, and I can literally go and I can turn a screw and I'm done, and that was it. And I get like my 2 hours paid for doing just a tiny bit of work. Or I'm busting my hump to get everything done because they want it all done within 2 hours. They don't want me to go a minute over. So I'm like, fucking hell, I'm really earning my money today. So fingers crossed,
That's every day a challenge for you. Yeah.
Yeah, every day. Tommy, I just want to say thank you very much for being a guest on DeckTales. It's been lovely to, not see you because you're a polar bear, but it was nice to hear from you and for you to share your stories with us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was fun for me as well. Get back on memory lines a little bit and then see some old faces from a couple of decades ago.
But the day has begun. We've started it off quite early today. I mean, I don't normally do early morning recordings, but this was the first one I've done in a while. So I feel like, we both did okay, considering we're not really fully awake yet.
I'm not a morning person either, but we got to start somehow. At least I feel useful today.
That's it. We what's the saying? Carry on as you mean to continue, or continue as you mean to carry on, or something like that.
Something like that.
Don't waste the day. Make it profitable. Make it, what do you call it? Be productive. That's what I'm trying to say. Make your day productive.
Yeah.
Go and do something now, and I'll catch you on the ski slopes in Geneva sometime soon.
Anytime. Just give me a heads up, yeah, man?
Nice one.
All right,
mate.
Take care.
Have a good day. Cheers, mate. All the best.
Ciao.
So there you have it. That wraps it up for this episode of DeckTales. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've been entertained by the tales of laughter, camaraderie, and the occasional stormy sea, then don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us to navigate the podcasting waters and continue bringing you these fascinating stories. Before I sign off, if you'd like to share your own stories for future episodes, then I'd love to hear from you. Simply get in touch over the socials, because after all, the best stories often come from our listeners. As we navigate through the waters of life, remember to enjoy the journey as much as the destination, as well as those you choose to share the adventure with. I've been your captain, Sammy Catlin. Until next time, fair winds, smooth sailing, and may your adventures be as unforgettable as those shared here on DeckTales. Bon voyage.